Hello, Co-op crew and others. We welcome you to another episode where we'll be talking about League of Legends with one of my best friends, where we have been separated due to his family leaving us in Washington. He moved to Hawaii. It's Matthew, and he's our League of Legends liaison to teach us a little bit. And we're excited to have you on. Say hi.
Thanks, Sawyer. Glad to be here.
How's everyone's week?
Man, it's crazy. As you guys know from the previous episode, I wasn't actually there, and it was kind of surprising to just decide not to be in it. But I think it was for the greater good. I think it's totally fine for one of us to not be in some of the episodes. It's been really crazy on the farm. This is the time of the year where our cherry trees are starting to blossom. And so they're really vulnerable to the cold weather. And this is the time of the year where it still can go below freezing, but in the daytime it can get pretty hot. So we've been doing frost control like crazy. And even tonight it's supposed to go down to like 25 degrees. And that's just like almost record breaking for how cold it is at this time of the year here where we're at. And so it could be really damaging tonight. So we could lose a lot of cherries. So hopefully everything goes good. Hopefully we don't lose a lot of crops, because this is like where we get our money, is through the cherries. Like if we threw all the other stuff we did out and we just did cherries, and if we were on a good year with the cherries, it would be totally fine. But it's just such a gamble. Being a cherry farmer is like going to a casino and just pulling that big lever and just hoping you pull good numbers for the year. So it's been really crazy, working like 14-hour days. But it's awesome to be back with you guys. Awesome to sit back down with all of you, having a good episode, just chilling, talking about League of Legends. I think all three of us hosts don't really know a lot about League of Legends, so I think it's going to be a good episode to just kind of learn about it, express what we know about it already, and just talk to Matthew here, have some good questions for him.
For sure. If it sounds like me and Carter are in the same place, it's because we are. I'm home for the week. It's spring break for me and Sawyer from college. We go to the same college, so we get a week off and then go back at it. That's basically all that's going on for me. Drove 10 hours to get home yesterday, so let's go.
Good night.
Yeah. My experience with League is literally like 2 hours of gameplay, so I can't be biased either way.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to know how many hours I put into League. I've been playing it on and off for about 7 years now. So basically, a bit before the last time I saw Sawyer and you guys.
Gotcha.
What year did League come out? Do you know?
2009.
Oh, interesting.
And so you started playing it right before you left Hawaii.
Between 6 months and a year before I left.
So that was our freshman year?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I feel like League is one of the biggest games out, even in 2021, that came out that long ago. Like it's one of the longest living games I've seen. And I think it proves itself to be such a great game just by how alive it is even today.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of the biggest competitive games that are played out there.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I don't think anyone could argue against that.
No, I'd say it's easily in the top 3 biggest esports in the world. Like, easily. Like, when I put esports in my head, League has to always come up.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Because
League and Rocket League. Just kidding.
$1 million tournaments versus $100,000 tournaments. Let's go.
I looked online. It said League of Legends is the second highest paying competitive esport. So I don't know what. I don't know. I wanted to look that up, but I didn't have time.
My guess would be Dota 2. Just because there's some crazy Asians that play Dota 2. Don't mean to sound racist, but like that's just the truth. Asians play that game more than anybody, and they make lots of money doing it.
Even my wife knows about Dota, and she's from Malaysia. She knows like how crazy it is even there.
Yeah, I actually started playing Dota 2 and then was introduced to League by Kevin Bazona, and then I never went back to Dota after that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we just had Kevin on our Zelda episode, and I remember him talking to me about League back in like 2009, 2010, during the middle of church. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I have no idea what kind of game you're describing to me, because I was just used to like Mario and Pokemon and whatever.
Halo, maybe.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Towers and like over like however many champions there were at the time. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
How many champions come out like yearly?
I'd say at least 5. They've been pumping out more lately, but right now there's around 150 champions in the game.
So for you, would you consider yourself like a hardcore League of Legends player?
I don't play as much as I would like to, just because I balance work and school and everything. But being on a competitive esports team for my university, I'd say maybe more so than just the casual gamer.
Right. And because you're on an esports team, we'd love to talk more about that. But because of that scene that you're in, do you have to like be updated with every single champion in the game? Do you have to like study each and every one of them so that when you go against them, you know what you're up against?
Yeah, I definitely like know the basics of every single champion in the game, but I'd say that I was doing that before I even joined the team, just because you have to know what you're
Right.
playing against.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, how in depth do you need to know each champion? Because, like, with us playing Valorant a lot lately, are they the same creators?
Yeah, they're both under Riot.
So, with us playing Valorant a lot, and they're expecting to pump out characters here in the next 5-6 years, and hoping for it to be a big game. Right now, we feel like we have to know the ins and outs of every single character so that we can be able to be best matched to them and like know them very deep. But like, I feel like that's impossible with 150 characters. But then again, if you put in the time, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a very unique aspect about League of Legends is every single game can be completely different because there's so many different matchups that could happen. And so obviously I don't know what every matchup is going to be like, but I can have a vague guess based on how their abilities work and how mine work. And so part of that goes into the matchmaking process of choosing champions based on what you see the other team is choosing.
But like I think a big difference in League, you always play on the same map, right?
Yep, the main ranked game mode always plays on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay,
Rift.
so like that's the difference between Valorant, and that is with Valorant, their abilities can be used in certain parts of maps, and there's multiple maps, and they just plan on adding more. So having to know each ability and person on each map makes it a little harder. But we only have 8. 10 plus agents? Well, there's 150.
13 or 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit more reliable.
Yeah, because you already understand the map fully, and you just have to know what they're going to come at you with. But
So some people listening to this episode might not have ever played League of Legends or never heard of it before. So could you give us just like a basic summary in like a few sentences what you would describe League of Legends is to those who are listening?
Yeah, definitely. League of Legends essentially is a competitive game. It's 5 players on each team. It'll be 2 teams playing against each other, and they start on opposite ends of a map. And in the map, there are 3 different lanes. There's the top lane that goes along the top edge of the map in kind of a square shape. There's the mid lane, goes right down the middle from one end to the base to the next base. And then there's the bot lane, which the opposite of top lane, and the jungle, which is between each of the lanes. And so you'll have your top laner, who's usually kind of a tank or bruiser, a mid laner, who's either an assassin or a mage, and then the bot lane, who is like a marksman and then a support character. And then the jungler is someone that can kind of fill whatever you need in your team to help and assist the lanes to get ahead. And you're trying to basically advance through different tiers of towers in each of the lanes until you eventually destroy the enemy base.
and it's an overhead view, so you're not seeing your character through his eyes,
Right.
which is a big difference.
Yep, third person. And so throughout the game, there's kind of 3 phases to the game. The laning phase, which is basically you and the opposite player on the other team competing for farm on these minions that spawn and kind of move down the lanes. You farm them for golden experience and trying to gain an advantage in one way or another to kill them and gain more golden experience, kind of boost your leveling process throughout the game. And then later on, you try to take control of other objectives like the dragon and the baron that give you and your team bonus stats. And then there's the mid game and late game where you're kind of moving through to try to focus more on these objectives than the lanes as much. If that makes sense.
Yeah, there's so many things that you have to work with your team because it's definitely a team game.
Mm-hmm.
And that drives me to one of the questions that I have about League of Legends and it being like a team game. So us 3 hosts, we've been into Valorant the past few months. And in some games, there's someone where, in the gaming world, we call them a Smurf, where they are in the lower rank, where normally they're supposed to be in a higher rank, and they can dominate us in a team. Just one of the players can totally outdo all of us together. So one of my questions was, in League of Legends, if there's one player on the other team who's just so much better than your team, can that one person outmatch your whole team?
I would say if your team is disorganized, say you're playing in solo queue and you have random teammates, I could say that could very well happen. I think smurfing isn't as common in League as perhaps in some other games because of the different matchmaking things that they do. They take into account kind of your in-game statistics to place you with people of similar skill level no matter what rank you are. And so that's not as much of a problem. I'd say the worst problem is when you have people that absolutely want to throw the game and are more toxic. And so that can be a hindrance. But really, it depends on how well you communicate and work with your teammates, how cooperative you are, and your positive attitude, just like any other game, in terms of how well you'll do throughout the game.
Gotcha. Well, with that being said, let's move on to one of our questions that we sent you. Who's your main character on League of Legends, and why do you like him so much?
I have put the most amount of time into Echo. He's a mage assassin. I play him in the mid lane. That's my assigned role on my team. And I like him overall because he's a really safe character to play. He has burst damage, but he also has a lot of defensive things. He has a stun, a shield, a slow, and lots of a dash built into his kit. So he's really versatile in a lot of different situations. His ultimate, or his biggest ability, kind of rewinds him 5 seconds into the past where he heals from the damage he dealt and moves to wherever he was at that point. So he can do a lot of unexpected things, get out of sticky situations, jump in and out of a fight. And I think he's a lot of fun to play.
Gotcha. So, would you say you're more like up front gonna wreck the other team, or like I don't really know the tactics of like everything in it. I just know that when I played my total 2 hours or whatever it was, the person that was teaching me, he really liked to play sneaky and like hide around and then jump on people basically. I don't know what role that would be, if it would be jungler or whatever, but like that was the kind of way he played. So what type of play do you like to play? I guess is the question I'm asking.
I've definitely played more assassins, and I wouldn't say that I'm a sneaky player as per se, as more aggressive, and I try to outplay people with my mechanics. So I have, maybe 4 or 5 champions that I'm really good with, and so I get really good at those so I can do things better than someone else if they were to play the same champion. And So that's kind of my play style recently. My coach has told me that I'm too aggressive and has had me playing mages instead, so I can kind of learn to play smarter and less hard. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
Me and Matthew, we recently, he taught me a lot of the basics. We probably played for 2 hours one night.
Mhm.
I supported you on the bottom lane, and since then, I've been playing a lot of ARAM, which is just instead of having 3 lanes, it's one lane, and it's all 5 of you going that one lane, and you're all fighting together. And from what I've been able to see with that, it seems like League, it's all based off of how smart you are and noticing when you need to attack more than anything. Because it baffles me the amount of skill level that's required in a game where it's like clicking and everyone having 3 abilities and like like with Valorant it's very technical where you have to aim and hit headshots. While with this game it's just as much of a skill gap where it seems it's all more mental than anything, knowing when to attack. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, like basically you have 4 abilities, Q, W, E, R, and
Yep.
then you have your auto attack and move.
Yep.
And for the most part, that's all you have to work with. But like you said, it all goes down to timing and positioning. Because if I'm in a competitive game and I move like an inch in the wrong direction, they can take advantage of that and wreck me.
Yeah.
So you have to be really smart
It hurts your
at
brain.
knowing what they are going to do before they do it.
Yeah,
and
you
then
got to be
try to
on it
predict
at
that.
all times. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause if you just happen to click just a little bit one way that you didn't really mean to, if they're really good, they'll pounce like a jaguar.
You also have to be aware of fog of war because you only are able to see the map and where your team has vision of it, either where you are or where you place your wards that can kind of see in a small area. And so people can come out of nowhere if you're not good about setting up vision of areas that you want to contest over. So you have a lot of things to worry about.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that, like me as a new player, never really look for. I never look at anywhere else on the map when I'm playing. I'm never looking at where anyone else is except for where I'm at, which just goes to show how big the skill gap is.
Yeah.
I would definitely say League is a completely different game as a new player versus an experienced player in terms of how the games feel.
Well, for sure.
So going in with like new versus beginning, how long do you think it took you to get to a point where you could be on an esports team? Because you've been playing for 7 years. Do you think it'd be like 3 or 4 years or 5 or 6 years? Like how long do you think it took you to get to that point?
I think it depends on the person and how committed they are to the game. Like for example, there's some people on the team right now that have only been playing for a year or two, but in some situations they can be just as good as me, if not in like overall game experience as to what they need to do in the moment. And so they are used to playing competitively versus playing casually. And I'd say just in the few months since I actually joined the team last semester, this is only my second semester playing it, I'd say that I've grown a ton just in the atmosphere that I'm in now. So if I had joined 4 or 5 years ago, like some of these other guys, then I'd be way better than I am now.
So let's talk more about the esports team you're in. Are you able to tell us the name of your team and some more information about it?
Yep. So I attend Southern Virginia University, so we're the SVU Knights. It's a relatively new program, so it's not as big as maybe a lot of the other big schools out there. It started just around 4 years ago, I think. So the founding members are still on the team for the most part. At least some of them are. And they started with just a couple guys that wanted to get together. The actually esports director is still a student here, and then we have one coach. His main game is League, but he kind of coaches all of the esports teams we have. And now we have probably around 25 players just on the esports team, and then several, maybe 2 or 3 dozen other people that attend the other teams.
Like, is it only League of Legends, or do you guys have other games?
League is definitely our biggest game, but we also do Rocket League, Overwatch, Fortnite, and then we did have StarCraft, but I think Blizzard kind of discontinued that game recently, so they kind of migrated to different games. And we have a Smash team too, but I don't think they're really playing competitively. There are a lot of newer players.
Gotcha. So take us in a normal week of an esports like college team, because like when I think of like a sports team in general, like I think of like high school sports where it's like day in day out, you're thinking about it, you're in kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same way, or are you only practicing 3-4 times a week? Are you practicing twice a week? Are you practicing every single day? Like,
Yeah, we have official practices Monday through Friday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's more of an individual practice, but sometimes we do specific things from 3 to 4. We play ranked. And then Tuesday, Thursday, everybody is playing and we're doing scrims with each other and we're playing from 4 to 6. So that's 7 hours each week just as team practice, plus our own time that we try to grind and rank up.
Okay. And do you practice from your own like room, or do you like meet together and like I don't know, I can imagine like 5 computers in one table kind of like practicing together.
kind of like when you see like esports events. Like I watch Call of Duty esports once in a while, and they're literally like sitting right next to each other and everything like that. So, do you guys play like that, or do you play mainly just from your apartment?
We can play from home, but we do have an actual esports room where we have 10 PCs in there that we come to practice at.
Man,
Sick.
I'm so jealous.
That are all custom made
Are
for
the
the most
PCs
part.
better than yours?
I would say so. The PCs are. We have 6 PCs that are built by people on the team in the past, and then we have 4 Predator laptops that we also use, along with our monitors and keyboards and everything. But I have my own laptop and everything that I can play from home if I need to.
Okay. And would you communicate through Discord, or
Yeah,
you guys
that's
have like
what
a
we use.
esports Discord that you use?
Yep,
That's
our
cool.
server. And we
You
have
make
a
myself jealous.
Twitch channel too. So a couple weeks ago, we had a scrim against another university and we kicked their butts. So if y'all want to watch it sometime.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
you want to shout out the Twitch channel?
Yeah, I don't have it up right now, but it should just be SVU Esports or something like that.
Okay. Well, we'll put it in the description so any of you guys watching can check it out.
Sounds good.
Since we're on the topic of esports, I just wanted to ask Carter and Colin, and Matthew too. I guess for Matthew, other than League of Legends, what's another esport game you'd like to get into, if you even care about other games? And then Carter and Colin, what's a game you guys wish you guys could dive into?
For esports?
Yeah, like you wish you could have, or still want.
I would definitely do a first-person shooter. I couldn't see myself doing like Fortnite. I could see myself getting into League of Legends if I truly put my effort into it, because I really like the whole like idea of it. And I just got into the mobile version of it that came out this month, Wild Rift. I think that's a really solid game already, and it's just like a basic port from the normal game, as far as I know, and it's really fun. And so I could see myself getting into that. But if I were to pick, it would probably be Valorant. If you asked me that a couple years ago, it would definitely be Counter-Strike, but
Yeah,
it would definitely be Valorant for me right now.
Even though I'm kind of trash at it, but like right now, the game I'm enjoying the most right now is Valorant. So it'd have to be that right now. But if you asked me a couple years ago, it'd be Rocket League for sure because I grinded the heck out of the game. I probably like if I went to a college that had esports teams, I probably would have tried out to be on a Rocket League team because I had that much confidence in how good I was and how much I knew about team play in the game. So
and your passion for it
yeah,
would help a lot.
Like literally, I don't know. When I latch onto a new game, sometimes a couple weeks ago when Ryan was on, we were talking about RuneScape, and he was talking about the dirty basement kid. I always feel like that when I latch onto a new game. Like, I don't know. That's how I did with Rocket League. I only played for like 2-3 years, and I had over 1,000 hours put into it, and it just, I don't know. That would probably be the game that I'd most likely be able to go to it. Mm-hmm. But if it was the game I wanted to go into right now, it'd be Valorant. What about you, sir?
Yeah.
Probably RuneScape. 1v1, wield people, dominate.
PvP,
yeah, dominate.
They
people
have
on
it.
Discord.
They have it. Don't worry. They do have it.
Yep. They have competitions and they have some pretty interesting like setups that they can do for that sort of thing.
Hey, check it out.
It's like I think they did like a battle royale thing, with, like the whole map, for like like $10,000 or something.
I think the most common one in RuneScape. I don't mean to get back on the RuneScape train, but I have been getting back into it, so that's why we're talking about it right now, 2 weeks later after that podcast. But the most common way is they give you both like a random loadout, but it's the same loadout, like of equipment, and then they do 1v1s in a bracket system. So it's whoever can use their random loadout that they just got and do better than the other person. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'd do that. With my short bow. What's funny? Right. One of my memories of Matthew with gaming is Matthew came over to my house quite a bit as kids.
Yeah,
and you were like one of the only people I ever wanted to come over. You and Reagan.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. I remember it was your first time playing a first-person shooter. If not, it might not have been the first.
That was Black Ops 1. I'm pretty sure.
No, we played Call of Duty World War. No, Call of Duty. No, it was. What's the other one?
Modern Warfare?
No, Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor Vanguard on my Wii. Do you remember that? You and me played it?
I do remember that.
That was your first time playing a first-person shooter.
Yeah, you're right.
And it was with the Wii remote, so you had to actually aim with the Wii remote.
Yeah.
And me and Peyton, we played that game so much, but you came in and you started just kicking my butt. Your first time playing a first-person shooter just destroyed me. I remember that. Do you still play first-person shooters? Or has League kind
of... honestly, not a ton. Like, I've gotten really into RPGs the last couple years. Especially since I've been playing more on my PC than consoles. Because I used to just play, like, Battlefield and Call of Duty and stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
But now I'm more into, like... I haven't played a lot of other games in a while, but I've loved Red Dead Redemption 2 and Assassin's Creed and a lot of those other games.
Yeah.
So not as much the first-person shooters as much, but they're still fun sometimes.
Yeah.
You should try out RuneScape, dude.
I already have one game sucking out my soul. I don't need another one.
So how would you say you would introduce League of Legends to a new person?
I mean, kind of what I did with Sawyer. Like, honestly, ARAM is probably one of the best ways just to get familiar with the game, because the games only last like 15 minutes. You get assigned a random champion each game, so you're trying someone out new every time, and you just kind of learn how to work with your team. So you don't have to worry about kind of the big looking at other part of the map stuff. You just kind of go down and you either kill them all and win, or you don't. So I'd say that's a good place to start. One thing that I did when I was trying to get a lot better is I'd watch like pro players or really good people and their streams and stuff on YouTube just to see what they do and some of the advice that they have. So that's something else you could do if you're pretty serious about it.
Yeah, ARAM's it's like a little bump of it. You get I feel like it's good for understanding the mechanics of fighting too.
Yep.
And
That's all you do.
And like a low stressful situation because you got 4 other guys with you in the same lane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would recommend to Carter and Colin if you guys want to try it out. It's does not much time given into it.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Kind of like a spike rush of
Yeah.
Valorant, where they give you random weapons every round so you can try them out and shorter
that's
games.
That's exactly it. Wow.
Yeah, I will say that there is a pretty steep learning curve. So like you don't get to actually play ranked until you hit level 30. And like before, that would take like a year to get that far if you're just playing casually. Now it's a lot easier. They kind of have made it easier for new players, but it's still like you have to get past that first kind of wave of just other noobs just doing random crap until you get to people who actually know what they're doing before it starts to really be fun.
Yeah, but I could also see where that's like really, really helpful for new players because that random crap is the same random crap you're doing that you both are making terrible, terrible mistakes, but it's okay because you're both doing it.
Mhm.
Whereas if you're able to jump into rank too early, I feel like your team would just hate you.
You just
and
be
you
scared
just
off.
hate the game. Like, I don't know. I feel like part of the reason I don't play more of it is because I do have that fear of I have no clue what I'm doing, man. Like, I don't. Most games I can pick up and figure out kind of where it's supposed to go. But I feel like League of Legends, like, I understand the basic premise of it, but I have a hard time grasping, like, when you tell me bot, middle, or top, or support, or anything like that, I'm like, okay, so what exactly do I do, though? Like, with this character that's supposed to be good at this role, what exactly is going on? So I feel like some players like me might need somebody like you, Matthew, to be able to guide me through it. But I don't know.
For sure. And that's always good, having a friend that can help you start out. But if you don't, then again, there's so many like tutorial and educational videos on YouTube that really go in depth onto how to get started, what you're supposed to do, different parts of the game, how champions work. But it definitely is hard when you're starting out. And so I think kind of what Sawyer's saying, just kind of getting into that low stress zone of don't worry about what other people are doing, because you do have a lot of like smurfs again when you're at that kind of stage of the game, and just kind of focus on getting through it and learning from your mistakes.
Talking about that, it makes me want to ask: do you think anyone can get into League, or do you think it requires a special taste?
I think it kind of goes back to what your mindset is. If you're the type of player that rages a lot when dumb stuff happens, then you're not going to be able to do well, because it takes a lot of mental fortitude to actually get good and play well. Especially when your teammates do dumb crap.
Yeah.
All right, then I'll steer clear.
Yep.
It's like League of Legends just looks like a game of chess to me.
Yeah, honestly, that's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah. Like all the different champions are different pieces of the chess set, and you just got to work as a team to win.
Yep.
One thing that threw me off, that scared me from getting into it, is the whole shop system. Can't you like build your champion differently depending on what you buy in the shop?
Yeah, so different champions do use different items, and you do adapt what items you buy depending on how the game is going and who you're playing against. This year, actually, they did just redo the entire item system. That makes it a lot more streamlined as to what you should buy. So when you open up your shop, it's not just like 100 different items that you have to choose from. It's here's 3 different choices on what would be good to buy next. Pick one that you think is best, and then if you want something else, you can get something else. But it just kind of guides you through it better.
Right.
So it's probably better than it used to be.
Because I played those type of games. They're called MOBAs, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest MOBA I got into is Smite, and I think I put a couple hundred hours into it actually. So I had a decent amount of hours put in. So one thing that I had to spend a lot of time with is just deciding in the shop, what am I supposed to buy? And every single game I'd have to have another page open that would have like a build for that god. They were called gods, the different characters. And that part really intimidated me at first because I just was like, I feel like I'm not going to buy the right items and it's just going to put me way under the competition and I won't be able to perform to what I'm supposed to be at. And so that was really intimidating to me, is the whole shop system. And that also intimidated me for League as well when I tried it for a bit.
Yeah, Sawyer, you just started recently. How would you say your first kind of impression of the shop was since it's been updated?
Oh, way better. It's really good. I don't have any fears going in the shop now because I just like, if there's like a character that's destroying me, sometimes there'll be an item you can buy and it says it's good against these two that you're fighting against. So you just, as you go back into the shop, I'll just buy whatever I can with the money I got, try to level up the most you can, and then I actually remember I did play League a couple years back before a mission, and it was that way. It was just like a bunch of items, and I didn't know what to do, and I just clicked on things. Yeah, it's pretty good.
This is just on a gameplay standpoint, but the question I have, because that's also where I was always static and didn't want to like even touch, was the item shop. So I'd have the person next to me showing me how to play, kind of do that portion of the game for me, so I could go on and play. But like I was always so scared to go into the shop too, because I felt like I was spending too much time there. Is there like a too much time to be in the shop rather than being like out fighting and out leveling up your character? Like when you're new, does it hurt your team to sit there for 3 to 5 minutes to, not 3 to 5 minutes, but like, I don't know how
game
long.
over.
Yeah, the game would end by then. I don't know, but a substantial amount of time, because I feel like I sit there and I'm like, okay, I don't know exactly what I want to do right as I get into the shop. Do you know where I'm going with this? I feel like I'm
I definitely understand what you're talking about. And I'd say, just to like throw it out there, like the most time you should ever spend sitting in the shop is about 5 seconds before you need to book it back to lane, because every second that you're not in lane or doing something is experience and gold that you're losing by not being there. And so a lot of the times you'll kind of already have a plan of what you want to buy before you back, and that way you back, you grab what you need, and then you go, because it shows you like a gold counter of how much you have. So you can like open the shop like when you're not there and look at what you need to get next and how close you are to buying something. So that way you know when to back and when you should stay a little longer to get a bit more gold. And then when you die, you also can buy stuff in the shop so that you're all ready to go as soon as you spawn. Does that make sense?
And speaking of dying, the respawn times in the end game are like a minute long, and that's just devastating.
Yeah.
That could take the whole game away, just getting like one kill on the other team.
Yeah, a lot of games are decided by, those late game team fights around those objectives. And so if they wipe out your whole team, or 4 out of 5 of them, then they can just steamroll down into your base and kill it before you all respawn. And that's how a lot of games end.
Yeah.
So you have to be smart about when to fight and when not to fight.
So, with that being said, like, do you guys do just one-off game? Like, in competition, is it just one game? Or is it best 2 out of 3? Like, because that seems devastating. If say one of your teammates did one mistake and 3 of you die, and then you just lose because of that one mistake, that's devastating.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't done a ton of like, the super competitive games just because of COVID and everything. It's made it kind of hard. But in the scrim we did a week or two ago, we did a best out of 3. So we won the first game and we lost the second one, and then we came back and won the third one, and that decided
Nice.
it.
Cool. Okay. Because, like, that's just the question I had. Because, like, if it was one game and you're one, like, that one person would just be devastated. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
And it's also hard because when you lose, each game can be a long time. Like a long game could be like 45 to 50 minutes. And then some of the shorter ones maybe 25. So when you lose, it sucks big time.
So one of the champions I used when I was playing it years ago when I was trying it out was Cho'Gath.
Yeah.
And I liked him a lot, but I just feel like if I played it now, that's just not my play style. And so when I got the mobile version, I tried one of the free champions that it gives you. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's the nine-tailed mage,
Ari.
Ari?
Yeah.
Isn't it Ahrim or something?
It's Ahri.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I really liked her a lot. She's really,
Yeah.
really nice, easy to use, good for a beginner, I would say. Because Cho'Gath, I had no idea what to do with him. Like, I think his ult is like you eat a minion and it makes you have more health or something.
Yep. So
Yeah.
Cho'Gath is a top laner, and all he wants to do is really just farm up as much as he can so that in the late game he's really strong. And so if he eats a champion or a minion, that gives him bonus health and defenses, and that stacks throughout the game. So if it goes too long, he gets pretty massive.
Yeah. I remember getting pretty big. It was fun.
Yeah.
Because I would take up like the whole width of a lane or something like that.
Yeah.
I know Valorant's very evenly balanced and they're the same people. So, but like in the competitive scene, do you see? Is it like the same 10 champions, or
Is there a meta?
yeah, or is there like 100 that are all good and you just do what you want?
There's definitely a meta, and it wouldn't be like just 10, but maybe like 20 or 30 that you see a lot, because there's certain champions where their skill cap is a lot higher than others. So say like Ari and Cho'Gath, you can still get really good at them, but there's other champions because they're more mechanical that you can outplay people even better. And so you see a lot of those that are
Makes
really
sense.
good for pros, but way harder for like regular players where they have lower win rates at a lower elo. That makes sense.
Crystal clear.
Who is the most annoying champion to go against?
Well, the probably most famous one for being annoying is Teemo.
Yeah.
He's
remember
just
that
this
guy.
little. He's called a Yordle. It's a kind of a race in the League of Legends universe. It's kind of this little rat dude with a pipe that shoots blow darts at you. And if he sits in a bush, he can go invisible, so that if you walked into the same bush as him, you couldn't see him. And after he gets to level 6, he throws down these little mushrooms everywhere, where if you step on them, they explode. And so you can be stepping on all these mushrooms and getting blown up, and you have no idea where this guy is. Yep, that guy right there. He's called the Devil of the Rift.
The Rift. He's so cute though.
Yep. He even
It's
has
funny
a
'cause,
skin that's called Little Devil Teemo.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's funny because on the farm that I work on, one of our guys, our employees, his name is Timo.
Don't want to work with that guy.
Diablo.
Yep.
Does he grow shrooms?
Oh, hope not.
All right, so to close out, I wanted to ask you one last question to kind of like give everyone one final chance to feel convinced to try it out. Throughout my experience of gaming, the special games that come out where like everyone plays them, like League has been, there always seems to be some certain element in the game that separates it and like makes the game special. Like in the Battle Royale realm, like Fortnite, I feel like it's the building that has made it so special for people that like kind of separates it. In Call of Duty, I feel like it's the cash and like the pacing of the game. But with League, I want to ask you what you think makes League special. Because from my experience so far, what has really drawn me to it after we played those couple games, I actually related it to Magic in our last episode, where the thing that I felt like makes Magic special is the fact that throughout the whole game, you're getting lands and you're like constantly building and becoming stronger and stronger, and then you're able to unleash on each other, right? Whereas with other cards, it's kind of like you get strong and weak. And I felt like with League, it's so exciting to be able to get kills, get gold, and make my guy stronger. And throughout the whole game, I'm like seeing my guy get stronger. I'm killing the minions faster. I have new abilities. My guy looks different, and that aspect to me made it really kind of made me want to play some more of that. Like I want to make my guy stronger. But then it ends at the end of the game and you're weak again. Whereas with most games, you come into it at the same level, and you have to fight with what you got. So yeah, from experience, League of Legends, what is special about it?
I'd say a couple things. I think for someone like you, Sawyer, or people that are kind of starting out or even playing it for a little bit, being able to learn the champions well enough to outplay people and do really cool things is always super rewarding. Getting past that kind of first barrier of, okay, I actually know what I'm doing now, and I can play this game and do some fun stuff. I'd say where I'm at right now, the biggest thing for me where I have the most fun is the team aspect. Because when I play with my team and I pull out those hard wins, that's a awesome feeling to have.
Man, I'm so jealous. Like over like the past 5 years, mainly with Counter-Strike, I've just wanted to have a team, like a solid team that would like practice together and like do everything that you're doing. And that just sounds amazing. Just you even have like a coach helping you guys out. You got like captains for your team, like you just said, and practices and things like that. I bet it's just such a good feeling to like put all that effort in, and it pulls out, it works out in the end, like getting that clutch win. I bet it's just such a awesome feeling to work with your team in that aspect.
It is. I mean, it's just like any other sport, like football, baseball, basketball. You put in time with your team, and then you get to see it pay off. Versus just playing catch with your friends is like casual gaming. So there's a difference, but it's fun.
For sure, man. I feel like all of us want to be in your shoes, like being able to play in the college team. It looks like we're getting to the end of this thing. So before we wrap up, do you want to plug some of your stuff, some of your social media and whatnot?
Yeah, for sure. We have a Twitch and an Instagram page for our school esports team. If you guys want to give it a follow and check out some of the stuff we've done. We don't post a ton, but you can see some of the games we've played. So our Twitch is SVU Knights. That's Southern Virginia University Knights. And then on Instagram, it's SVU Esports. And my personal gamer tag on League of Legends is Locker74. If you guys want to shoot me a friend request if you're getting started, or if you played a while and want to catch a game or two once in a while.
Yeah, you can catch Matt here, Locker74, here in the Co-OpCast Discord. So if you guys are interested, hop on in and send him a message.
Hey, I think you forgot to mention your OnlyFans account.
I'll have to get that started because as of yet I haven't had any fans, so you guys can be my first.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Like always, like, comment, subscribe, and please join the Discord. That's where we get to be able to interact with you guys the most. Thanks for watching.
Share with your friends. See you guys.
Deuces.
Bless you.